The rain fell softly over the quiet streets of Brooklyn, blurring the city lights into pools of gold and blue. Mason Rivera walked slowly, his coat drenched, his eyes lost somewhere between the past and the pain he could never outgrow. He wasn't heading home. He was heading toward a memory, one that never aged, one that waited for him like an unpaid debt of time. 3 years ago, Mason had everything. Thriving photography studio, friends who believed in him, and above all Lara. She wasn't just his muse. She was the soul behind every picture he took. Where he saw broken walls, she saw stories. Where he saw silence, she found music. Together, they believed they could capture time itself, through love, through light, through the lens. But time has a cruel habit. It never stops, never warns, never returns what it takes. It was winter when Alara fell sick, a rare heart condition, doctors said. Mason spent his nights in sterile hospital corridors, clicking photos of raindrops on the glass just to remind himself that beauty still existed. She would smile and tell him, "You're trying to freeze time again, Mason. You can't owe it forever." But he didn't listen. He thought if he could just capture her laugh, her eyes, the way she looked at him when she said his name, maybe he could keep her alive forever. On her last night, she made him promise one thing. "Don't let time own you, Mason. Let it move through you. Promise me you'll live," he promised. But when she was gone, he realized promises are the hardest debts to repay. Months turned into years. His studio closed. His friends stopped calling. Mason disappeared into the rhythm of empty days shooting, strangers' weddings, smiling at people he didn't care to know. Each photo felt hollow, each smile a lie. Until one evening, as he walked by the old hospital, he saw a little girl sitting on the steps, clutching a broken camera. She couldn't have been more than 8, her face smudged with tears and rain. Mason paused. "Hey, are you okay?" "My camera's broken," she whispered. "It was my mom's. She said it helps keep people close." Even when they're gone, Mason knelt down, his heart pounding. "Can I see it?" Where she handed it over, a vintage Nikon, scratched and faded, the same model Alara used to own. Turned it gently in his hands, the way he once held her fingers. "Who is your mom?" he asked softly. The girl looked up. Her name was Alara Rivera. Mason froze. The world blurred around him. "Alara?" The girl nodded. "You knew her?" He felt his chest tighten. "Yes, I knew her very well." The girl smiled faintly. "She used to tell me about a man who could stop time with his camera. I think she meant you." Tears filled his eyes before he could stop them. He repaired the camera silently, hands trembling, memories rushing back like a tide. When he handed it back, the little girl hugged it to her chest. "Thank you, mister. What's your name?" Mason asked. "Leah," she said, her voice as light as Alara's once was. Leah Rivera. He didn't ask more. He didn't have to. The universe had already spoken. Alara had left him one final gift, a living memory, a piece of the time he thought he'd lost. Over the next few weeks, Leah kept visiting his studio. She watched him develop old film, asking questions about colors and shadows. Mason taught her how to hold a camera, how to see beyond what the eyes can see. He saw Alara's spark in her, that same curiosity, that same way of finding beauty in brokenness. One evening, as the sun melted over the Brooklyn Bridge, Leah turned to him. "Mom said everyone owes time something. What do you owe, Mason?" He looked at her, the sunset painting her face in gold. "I owe it peace," he said quietly. "For all the time I tried to fight it," Leah smiled, and for the first time in years, he smiled back, not the practiced one he wore for the world, but a real one. The kind Alara used to draw out of him without even trying. As months passed, Mason began photographing again, not for money, not for fame, but for the moments that deserved to live beyond time. Leah became his little assistant, capturing laughter, kindness, the soft warmth of people who had forgotten how to smile. Each picture healed a part of him, like paying back a debt in small, tender installments. One day, he took Leah to the ocean, Alara's favorite place. They stood by the waves, the sky wide open, gulls crying above. "She used to say," Mason whispered, "that the ocean never keeps what it takes. It just carries it forward." Leah tilted her head. "Do you think she's here now?" He smiled. "She never left." The wind brushed past, and in that moment, Mason felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. The ache was still there, but softer now, like an echo instead of a wound. He realized time hadn't stolen Ilara from him. It had just changed the way she existed. That night, back at the studio, he developed the photo Leah had taken at the beach. In the print, Mason and Leah stood together, hand in hand and in the reflection of the waves behind them. Faint, but unmistakable, was the outline of a woman smiling. He didn't show it to Leah. Some things are too sacred for proof. But he framed that photo and placed it by the window, where the morning sun always hit first. Years later, when Mason grew old, Leah took over the studio. She renamed it Timeless Light. Every wall carried a piece of their story: laughter, tears, sunsets, and memories frozen in silver and color. And on the front desk, beside the register, she kept a note in faded ink in her mother's handwriting. Time never takes without giving. It just waits for you to understand what you owe. When Mason passed away, Leah buried his favorite camera by the ocean, where the waves could touch it just like he always wanted. She whispered, "Debt paid, Mason. You kept your promise." The tide rose, the horizon shimmered, and somewhere beyond the reach of time, Ilara and Mason watched her smiling. They say love fades, but that's not true. Love doesn't fade. It changes shape, moves through time, and waits patiently for the day it's finally understood. That's the real debt we all owe to time. To live, to forgive, to remember. And in the end, when time comes to collect, all it really asks is whether you loved deeply enough to be remembered gently. Because no matter how far the clock runs, love always finds a way back. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking and subscribing for more content that explores the depths of the human experience. We'll see you in the next one.